10 years in Google. When it comes to Google, like how do you get a job? Because you have 10 years back இருந்ததுக்கும் இப்ப இருந்ததுக்கும் ஸ்கில் செட் ரெக்வயர்மெண்ட்னு இருக்குல்ல, அது வந்து சேமா இருக்கா இல்ல டிஃபர் ஆயிருக்கா?
Every place we're actually evolving a lot. So new technology areas like cybersecurity.
ஜாயின் பண்றேன் லைக் கூகுள் வந்து வேலை பார்க்குறேன்னு சொன்னோடனே வந்து இல்லை கூகுளா அரி ஹவுஸ் எ லைஃப் ஸ்டைல் அட் கூகுள். ஸோ வந்து இந்த 3 விஷயத்த நான் பண்ணேன்னா லைக் என்னோட கெரியர்ஸும் சைடு. ஸோ ஹாய் எவ்ரிவன், வெல்கம் பேக் டு டெக் டாக்ஸ். இது டெக் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் உங்களுக்கு இருக்கிற டவுட்ஸை டெக் இண்டஸ்ட்ரி பீப்புள் வச்சே கிளியர் பண்ணுறதுக்கான ஷோ. நீங்கள் இன்னும் எங்கள் பேஜை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணாமல் இருந்தீங்கன்னா இப்போவே பண்ணிக்கோங்க, இல்லைனா உங்கள் டவுட்ஸாகவே இருக்கும், கிளியர் ஆகாது. ஸோ இன் ஆர் ஷோ டுடே வி ஹேவ் அம்ரித், who has strong technological background and who's working in Google for more than 10 years. Hi sir, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
ஸோ நீங்கள் டெக்னாலஜி இண்டஸ்ட்ரின்னு எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா ஒரு 10 years பேக் இருந்ததுக்கும் இப்போ இருந்ததுக்கும் ஸ்கில் செட் ரெக்வயர்மெண்ட்னு இருக்குல்ல, அது வந்து சேமா இருக்கா இல்லை டிஃபர் ஆயிருக்கா? என்ன மாதிரி ஸ்கில் செட்டில் இம்ப்ரூவ்மெண்ட் ஆயிருக்குன்னு சொல்ல முடியுமா?
I think things have differed. It has changed, but basic things like soft skills and programming skills, those sort of things are all the same. But technology has changed. So you need to keep updating. That's very important. That to keep updating to new skills and new tools that are out there. Like for instance, last year, a lot of AI tools have come out, which has actually changed how people work. So that is important for people to kind of adapt to and learn.
So can you name some tools that people have to concentrate? இது கண்டிப்பா கத்துக்கணும், டெக்னாலஜில இருந்தீங்கன்னா இது கண்டிப்பா கத்துக்கணும் நீங்க அப்படின்னு உங்களுக்கு ஏதாச்சும் டூல்ஸ் தெரியுமா?
So things like Gemini, how you're searching information, how you're actually creating new content, summarizing notebook for research, notebook LLM for research. Those are things that I have actually used generally to improve. But there is a huge wave of tools that are coming in this last 2 years. So it's very important that we adapt to that. How based on the skill that you want, you have to figure out the right tools and a collection of tools to do that.
ஸ்கில் செட் மட்டும் இல்லை, ஐ திங்க் த ஜாப் ரோல்ஸ் ஹேவ் ஆல்சோ சேஞ்ச். யா, லைக் நிறைய ரோல்ஸ் வந்துட்டு ஒரு 10 இயர்ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி இருக்கவே இல்லை, பட் நவ் வி ஹேவ் லாட் ஆஃப் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ். அந்த மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு எக்ஸைட் பண்ற மாதிரி ஏதாச்சும் ஜாப் ரோல்ஸ் உங்க மைண்ட்ல இருக்கா?
I think, industry has evolved. We are solving more complicated problems right now, which means there is more complicated tech involved. There are more roles that are opening up. And we are also maturing as an industry, right? Technology and every place, we are actually evolving a lot. So new technology areas like cybersecurity, areas, and people are focusing only on that. Like there are engineers who are working only on security. There are engineers who are actually optimizing a lot of the workflows. So those sort of things are coming up newly. And that was part of everybody's job earlier. Now it's like individuals are actually focusing on that. And specializations have come up for that.
Okay. So technology industry ன்னு எடுத்துக்கோங்களேன். When it comes to Google, like how do you get a job in it? Because you have worked 10 years in Google and first question அதுதான் கேட்டுக்கணும், but it comes to my mind now. Like how do you get placed in Google?
One thing is understand your basics really well. Thorough understanding of basics. That's what we look at. We'll hire people for engineering jobs. We're not hiring for one particular skill that the person has. So we look for engineering skills. So basics is very important. Secondly, our interviews are slightly different. So study for that. Prepare really, really well. That's where your mentors and your courses will actually really come into picture. So preparing is really, really important for that particular sort of style of interviews. And rest of it is actually kind of straightforward. Just be calm in the interview and then answer the questions clearly. We had nice interviewers, so it's going to be easy that way.
Okay, so like Google எடுத்துக்கிட்டாவே ஐயோ கூகுளா டிஃபிகல்ட்டான இன்டர்வியூ ஆச்சு அப்படிதான் எல்லாருமே நினைப்பாங்க. So is it really difficult?
Not really. But where people get caught off guard is the basic. A lot of people don't prepare. They know that, but they don't know how to put it across. Because they haven't practiced it and they haven't learned it recently. Or some people are rustier on that. And that's where it actually falls apart.
Okay.
We have seen most people are intellectually good enough to clear all our interviews. But sometimes they get caught up in these places where basics are not very clear. They haven't recently studied those things. So that's where the gap comes up. And again, if you get rejected at an interview, that doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means for that role, maybe you're not a good fit. So that's also something that we want to keep in mind.
Okay. So also Google join பண்றேன் Google like Google வந்து வேலை பார்க்கறேன்னு சொன்ன உடனேவே வந்து will be Google how is the lifestyle at Google like
So I think it's like any other jobs. After 2 months, it's all like any other job. People used to think of us very differently earlier, but now there are a lot of us, a lot of Google employees now. So I don't think it's any different from working in any other company. Same.
So also when it comes to Google and like, when I'm a startup, when I'm beginning my career, okay, is there any internship programs or, like Google bonding programs that you give out for people?
So we do have internship program every year for students, and we also have for certain level of experience also. They are all on our career site. We publish it there.
Okay.
Anybody can apply for it, provided you have the right match to the skills. We do call them for an interview, and then they get internship for about 4 to 6 months. And that's something, many of them convert to Googlers after that. If they're interested to do that, they want to continue with us, then they go through the interview process and then convert. But otherwise, the experience actually helps.
Okay. So if I'm a beginner, like in the experience, like I'm straight out of college, appo in the Google internship program ka apply panna, like how will be the question? How should I approach the interview?
So it is not going to be about very complicated things. Like I said, it's going to be basics. So whatever you studied in your college is good enough to clear. Just that you need to have a good understanding of those things. If you have skipped something, please go back and relearn those sort of stuff. I don't think we are looking for people with a lot of expertise. We are looking for people who have a good understanding, and we want to groom them up and help them become better engineers. So that's the whole intent of the internship.
Okay.
So it is not going to be like super difficult, complicated engineering questions or anything. It'll be very simple, like your exam questions. There would be things which are asked. As long as you're able to answer that well, we should be happy to have you guys.
Like even like when you say, right, I think you have mentioned it a couple of times, like Google interviews are like not difficult, but it's very different. So என்ன மாதிரி different questions-லாம் I can face? Do you have any ideas? ஒரு question நீங்க interview attend பண்ணும்போது உங்களுக்கு ஏதாச்சும் like ஒரு question கேட்டாங்களா?
Okay, I actually did prepare for the interview. When they asked me for it, data structures and algorithms are very important for us for engineering. That is something a lot of people generally don't ask, but we do ask for that. We do look for expertise in that, because a lot of problems that we solve, we are solving it for the first time. So data structure and algorithms are required for that efficiency and things like that.
In and out, right?
In and out, very detailed. We do ask for that. We do ask people to write code on a blank sheet of paper, sort of a thing.
Okay.
So it's some of this, if you don't practice, even if you know, you start fumbling in an interview. So that's why the preparation becomes very important. So that is why I would say, I don't think it is, like I said, different. Yes, these differences, if you practice, you can easily cover. No problems at all.
Okay. So also soft skill based பண்ணி questions அந்த மாதிரி வருமா, or like just data structure and algorithm வெறும் technical side இல்லாம like will you be put through something?
Soft skills, we want people to communicate because we're a global team.
Yeah.
So some part of communication is required. But those are things that we still have courses and we still have training internally also for that. But we don't focus too much on it, but basics have to be there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's communicating a large team with diverse people. Like we have people from every part of the world, and your team might be something of a mixed group, not just people speaking your own language, with people from your same background. So there, some of the soft skills, yes, required. We look for it in interview, but they are not the highest category for an engineering interview.
Okay. So உங்களுக்கு கேட்ட ஒரு question which you felt difficult to answer in your interview, அது ஷேர் பண்ண முடியுமா?
Okay. Well, this is a long time back, so I think it should be okay. Share it now. So one of the things that I was asked was, how would I create a strategy for I was a lateral hire. I was not coming out of college. I came with about 11 years of experience to Ruby. So one of the things was to create a strategy to set up a business in a country where there's no internet.
Okay.
So what would you do on day 1? What would you do on day first week, day 7, day 30, and 6 months down the line? How would you actually set things up? That was a question that was asked to me. Initially, it was like, wow, what should I do about this? But then Ali said, I did. I mean, I was shocked initially when I heard that. I was like, little taken aback. But
Without internet as well.
yeah, I was like, that's a curveball. Also, but again, I gave a logical answer. That is what they were expecting. It's like, how would you go about solving a problem? Do you even try, or do you give up on it? That was the idea behind the question, I guess. As I got the job, so they have answered well.
So when it comes to technology field, has it like job role wise or like job wise, has it attained its saturation point?
No, I don't think so. It's evolving a lot. There is new jobs that are coming up. Like 2 years back, AI engineer was not something that was there. Now there are specific job roles for that. Product people who are focusing specifically on new technologies. So technology will keep evolving. People need to continuously upskill themselves. Technology in this field, that's one area that you have to constantly learn and update yourself and evolve with the time. Otherwise, you get obsolete and it's very difficult to find a job and grow in the career. But if you're constantly evolving, it's easy for us to kind of keep going with it and continue with the career and grow.
Hmm. When it comes to career and growth, சொன்னோன்னு ஞாபகம் வருது லைக் இந்த ஒரு 3 திங்ஸ் நான் வந்து இப்போ இன்ஜினியரா இருக்கேன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். இல்ல வந்து நான் வந்து ஒரு இன்ஜினியரிங் பேக்ரவுண்ட் ஒரு ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றேன். டெக்னாலஜிக்கல் பேக்ரவுண்ட்குள்ள வரேன் அப்படின்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். ஸோ வந்து இந்த 3 விஷயத்த நான் பண்ணலன்னா லைக் என்னோட கெரியர் சூசைடுக்கு போயிடும். லைக் ஐ ஹாவ் அ கெரியர் சூசைட். இஸ் தேர் சம்திங் லைக் தட்? Number of things.
I would say constant learning. Continuously updating yourself is important. Not only the fact that you're learning new things, there are things that you'll have to relearn because you might have studied in college very well, but you've not used it for many years. Then you become rusty at it. So you want to go back and learn stuff. Secondly, new technology evolves. It continuously changes. 15 years back, if you talk about how mobile apps could change the world, people wouldn't understand. Today, it's common understanding. Everybody has that. So, if simple, I'll give you another example. Is you used to get a book on how to use software. It's shrink wrap software. Today, nobody gets that, right? Nobody gets a manual of how to use a mobile app. We just use it directly. A mobile app or an application that you're downloading on the internet. You're not getting a mobile. But when you had a shrink wrapped CD or a floppy disk with it, you had a booklet with it which say how to install, how to use it, what are the functions. So there are like things that are we constantly change, right? Not just technology, hardware.
I think even a kid can use it really,
Yes,
you know.
things change so much. UX has become so important. User engineering, user research has a new area that has to come up. So there are many things that will come and evolve continuously. So I feel that will be constant learning is absolutely important. Soft skills necessary as you grow in your career. It is important. Communication with people. So I always tell people that three things that you have to do when you're working. One is do the work really well. Second is documenting that part. And third is publishing that part. Without you actually telling everybody what you've done, nobody usually understands in a large organization. So without the communication skills, without the writing skills, without those as soft skills that we talk about, right, it's very difficult to grow in the organization. You might remain at the same place, but as everybody's ambition is to grow. So that growth part, soft skills also need to be something that you definitely will have to work with. I think these two are where I would put as the most important.
Wow. So technology like when I was a kid, I didn't know how to use a computer and all. But now people are like not book smart, but technologically everybody is smart. Even kids are like very smart when it comes to technology, right? So when it comes to that, like career upskilling no irukku. So do you think courses like upskilling courses will help people actually get the career grow?
I definitely feel that does because they change how people are thinking, right? Even I have actually taken a course. I did my MBA 3 years back, which was like what after 15 years of my career.
Oh wow.
I went back to college and did that. So that is important. It changes the way you think. They gives you some framework and thought process. Sometimes people say all of this is available on the internet, but a lot of people don't have the discipline to kind of do this continuously, right?
Yeah.
So courses definitely do help because they're concise. They give you the right structure to think about new things and they help you learn really quickly. And those methodologies are proven methodologies of learning, right? So it's easier for people to absorb that information. Now, when you're working, you also need to optimize because time goes in. You can't really stop working and then go. Very few people can afford to do that. Where you can actually stop work and then go back to school or college and learn all over again and come back. So most of them want to learn as they are working. So courses now are very concise. They take into account that people are working. So they tend to help you manage it.
They tend to give us the right amount of knowledge at the right
Right.
time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You've said it right. Yeah. Right amount of knowledge in a way that can be absorbed and used.
Okay.
A lot of them are very actionable information, more than just theoretical, very
Theory.
actionable. So that also helps you grow in your career faster, because that whole shift of your thought process comes about very quickly.
Courses எடுத்துக்கிட்டோம்னா like there are like lot of courses, even like online tutorials கூட இருக்கு. But has the certification from any course helped you in your career?
Uh, I've done a few internal ones that are there, and then I did a PGM course with IIM. So that is the courses that I have actually done. But the company that I am in, we have a lot of internal courses that are there. So that is where I have focused most of my effort.
Okay.
Externally, I hadn't got a lot of time to do it. I hadn't invested a lot of time in external courses, but internally we have a lot of catalogs of content. So that's where I have focused. But for people who don't have that luxury, there are a lot of external courses which are very good. So they should definitely look at an area and then work with that.
So when it comes to career growth, what we hear, what we see, what we learn actually impact us a lot. So any books or any podcast or any websites that you have gone through for the past couple of months, which has helped you?
I mean, yes, definitely. I think you should continuously learn. Books are definitely important. Keep reading I think that's what some of the latest generation does not really do enough. They have totally hooked on to digital content, but reading books I still like a lot. I think the last ones I finished up was Hooked. One was Hooked. Then there's a 10x rule. There isn't one. And then Deep Work.
Deep work.
Deep Work is what I'm reading right now. That is actually pretty interesting. And for podcasts, I usually listen to a few. One is Fragmented. That's about Android. Then there is a few AI one. One is me, myself, and AI. That's from MIT.
Okay.
And there is a daily summary for AI. AI summary. That is another one. And outside of tech, there are two podcasts that I not very regularly, but very interesting. That I is 99% Invisible, and the Radio Lab. These are the Radio Lab.
Okay.
They talk about non-tech things, but they do a lot of research on topics and very interesting topics. Very long format, but they are fun to listen. So I occasionally listen to them. The topics are interesting, but yeah, those are the ones I actually have been working with lately.
Wow. So technological roles in education, do you think it will survive in India? Like, fast is it growing, or is it saturized?
No, I don't think it is saturated at all. I think technology roles will exist. There are a lot of people who say AI will take over jobs. Yes, certain jobs will actually will be kind of redundant, but there will be new jobs opening basically. So there is how we say is that somebody using technology might with technology might take away the job from the guy who's not using the technology. So a person using AI might take the job away from the person who's not using AI, but it's not AI completely coming and taking the job away. So definitely upskilling will be required for people. That part of it is obvious for that, but I don't think that jobs are reducing for any year.
So how important graduation is for Google? Like, do you look for people who are purely from tech background when it comes to engineering, like IT படிச்சிட்டு BTech IT complete பண்ணிட்டு MTech complete பண்ணிட்டு வரவங்கள மட்டும் தான் எடுக்கிறீங்களா, like, or people who do courses, something like that around technology, you hire them as well?
We don't always look for that. There are certain roles where we look for a particular background in technology, but not necessarily for all of it. There are people who are from diverse backgrounds, but with the right skills. It's not that you've learned something completely different that you don't know, and we are going to include you and then train you up. It's more about people it might be like you studied architecture, and then, but you studied computer science, you studied the coding and all of those aspects of it, and then you can come and join us. There's no problem with doing that. And we do have examples of it. I do have examples of them in my team. I do have somebody who's a major in economics, and who's now doing a computer science job. So there's no hard and fast rule. Certain jobs do require that background. So that only for those ones we have that specific requirement specified. Otherwise, people from different backgrounds do come.
Can you talk name, Can you name top 3 skills that is actually required for a job at Google?
I would say strong understanding of the basics.
Yep.
The part of the soft skills that I talked about, a little bit of that is definitely important. And it would also be thinking on the fly. It's like you don't constrain yourself in how you're actually solving problems. A lot of times we are solving problems for the first time. Some of the problems that we would be facing is like we are the first ones to go ahead and solve it. So you've got to be thinking out of the box as we are thinking out of the box, and those sort of things actually help. So I would say, without limiting yourself to certain beliefs,
So narrow-minded.
yeah, don't be narrow-minded. Be a little more broad-minded.
You have to like, multiple options, that multiple ways of, securing key.
It's a little bit of.
So yeah, thank you so much for coming into our show. It was very insightful. So I think it helped you guys as well. So நீங்க Googleல job தேடிட்டு இருக்கீங்க, மறக்காம இந்த வீடியோ வந்துட்டு full-ஆ பாருங்க and share it with your friends as well. Thank you.